when you think about the problems, that our country,
you're not.
When you take a look at this tweet, Christie has nearly 2-minute argument with the crowd at the Florida Freedom Summit after the crowd continues booing him. Instead of continuing with his speech, Christie decided to chastise the crowd. Your anger against the truth is reprehensible. As people watch today, if your arguments are so strong, if your arguments are so great, and mine are so bad, then just keep quiet. Let me make my awful argument, and then you can just reject them out their hand. But the problem is you fear the truth. The problem is you want to shut down any voice that says anything different than what you want to hear. Believe me, it doesn't bother me one bit.
And as people watch today, if your arguments are so strong, if your arguments are so great, and mine are so bad, then just keep quiet. Let me make my awful arguments, and then you can just reject them out of hand. But the problem is you fear the truth. The problem is you want to shout down any voice that says anything different than what you want to hear. And you can continue to do it, and believe me, it doesn't bother me one bit. I'll tell you what does bother me. As we stand today and watch the atrocities that are going on in Israel, that's what we should spend our time talking about. And that's the place where I suggest some of our anger should be directed.
Christie was just booed at a Faith and Freedom Coalition conference because he talked about the failures of Donald Trump.
It's a failure of leadership. And you can boo all you want.
And if you thought that the booing was going to put a damper in his rant, you thought wrong, because this is him right afterwards.
And look, guys, we can't pretend that Donald Trump is a man of character. This is a guy who paid off a porn star. This is a guy who has regularly lied. This is a guy who's abused people who have worked for him. I mean, I consider myself, now that he's taken off on me, I'm happy to be with Rex Tillerson and with Jim Mattis and with John Kelly and with Mark Esper and with Bill Barr, who he called a gutless pig. I mean, this is not character. And what I was trying to make sure I emphasize to those folks in there is, if we are people of faith, the absolute, one of the cornerstones of faith is character. And it is an absolute lack of character. This guy offered me White House Chief of Staff, and then was on a podcast yesterday saying he never trusted me. Well, what does that make him, a liar or an idiot? It's one or the other. Because if you offer me Chief of Staff and you never trusted me, then you're an idiot. And if you did trust me enough to offer me Chief of Staff, then you're a liar. Either way, I don't think that's the kind of person we want behind the desk in the Oval Office. And I came here to this organization today because I respect them. I respect every one of the people in that room who are there because they care about the country and they want to elect the best person they can. But I'm not going to come here like other candidates will and pander to them. I'm going to say exactly what I think. I knew there was a lot of Trump fans out there, and I knew I was likely to get booed. But you know what? I guarantee you one thing. I made every person in that room think today. And that's part of your job as a leader, is not to tell them what they want to hear.
I'm no Christie fan. He was like the first one to endorse Trump in 2016. The dude is a chameleon. So, do I trust him? No. But I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. I actually think this might help him, because the reason why so many conservatives liked Donald Trump was because of his mouth. He wasn't afraid to be a bully. And they are drawn to that. They think it's strength, even though Donald Trump is the weakest man on the planet. So the fact that Christie is walking right up to the bully and verbally punching him in the face.
Yes, it is high time Chris give up. I don't understand if he can withstand this embarrassment he is getting. Okay, now we can take a look at what Christie said here. It is stupid. As a politician, when you are giving a speech, you are being booed or people shouting, you have to really even try to see into what is going on. You don't go to say, oh, if what you are saying that is so important, continue your speech, continue to speak. People will gradually calm down. I understand he has been standing against Trump for some time, but to me, this man is not fit to be president. It is like he took up this decision to actually just be doing to derail people, to go against Trump. That is what I notice. A lot of these people are giving up to embrace Trump. He should do the same because I don't see him even nearing the White House. He cannot win. It is like he just purposely do this to be getting all this embarrassment. Chris has been a disgrace, for some time. I used to look at the man, at first to be different, but during these, campaigns, I've realized something contrary to that. He cannot even say something bad about Biden. Then you tell me this is a politician that can win. It is crazy. He should be able to stand and talk against Joe Biden. We will understand. You cannot be campaigning against Trump, then you are always there in support of Democrat. Appearing, on CNN and all the like. Then you tell me you are running for president. Are you running to be a Democrat or a Republican? I don't know.
And there's some people who are like most of the time it's implicit. They don't but sometimes it's explicit.
I believe as a politician, when you are to do campaigns, you exploit different topics, not focusing on a particular thing. Say it over and over, people get bored. Now he has been booed in a disgraceful way like this. I hope he loves that. That is not the first time I've seen him being booed. I've seen several situations where this is happening, but it caught my attention that this happened in Florida. There are people Chris can face or attack.
I want Republican voters to understand this. What's going to be happening in March? He's going to be sitting in a courtroom in Washington, D.C. with Mark Meadows 20 feet away from him, saying he committed crimes in front of me on my watch. Not some rogue prosecutor, Joe.
A second. He's a former prosecutor. I want to stop you right there, and I want to underline what I've said, because we have a lot of Democrats watching this show, but as I'm sure you know, we have a lot of Republicans that are watching this show. And I just want to say to my Republican friends that are watching, everybody that's testifying against Donald Trump, they're not editorial writers for the New York Times or primetime hosts at MSNBC. They are all Trumpers who stayed with Trump to the very end.
Yeah. Look, this is a guy who was Velcroed to Trump's hip